Okay, Will. You wanted to know what we were talking about this month.
I did.
And I wouldn't tell you because I wanted to hear your reaction.
My reaction normally is this shit.
Yeah, most of the time it is, but I thought that this could provoke a reaction that will determine a point throughout the episode. And that is...
Am I allowed to grab some food?
Yes. And that is... Good. Today we're going to be talking about Time Lord Victorious.
Okay.
What do you think to that?
I don't know.
Excellent. You're such a great co-host. Thank you. Welcome back to the Who Pod. This month we're going to be talking about Time Lord Victorious, and I've decided to bring with me this month Will. Next month sees the start of Time Lord Victorious, the multi-platform event. So shall I talk about some of the prices of some of this stuff then?
This is a banging sandwich.
Excellent. So the first one is £29 for the Big Finish bundle that I've bought.
How many Big Finish is in the bundle?
3 hour things and then 2 short trips. So basically 4 hours of content. And I bought CD with Paul McGann. And it's got Delgado's Master as well. And I've forgotten the other one. That's bad.
So, not some of David Tennant's fanboy, but what is he doing?
What is David Tennant? He's in the books. Okay, so it's all kind of complicated in some aspects, right? Because I always thought it would be like, Paul McGann would do the audios, Christopher Eccleston would do the comics, David Tennant would do the books, So you get like each perspective of Doctor, but there's like 24 versions of things that you can see. It doesn't work out to be that evenly distributed. I think that from what I've gathered is that 9 is having, because we don't know much about this to be honest, but 9 seems to have the Doctor Who magazine comic books, but David Tennant is taking the 10th Doctor is taking the actual comic books. Paul McGann is taking the audios. David Tennant is taking the books, but all 3 of them are on the books. There's vinyls.
So it's not a person we're actually hearing Doctor Who content from, is Paul McGann?
I think so. Who's to say? We don't know. It does seem a bit silly to just kind of... It seems greedy to me, personally, to not just release Time Lord Victorious as just David Tennant's books or David Tennant's audios or anything like that, but then to get the 9th Doctor, the 8th Doctor in, it just seems a bit silly. And I think for a lot of people, it's quite difficult to consider Big Finish as canon when they pull that.
No, I don't know if I consider Big. There's some stuff in Big Finish I consider canon.
Yeah, some things you're just like, okay, what if he never had that? If that never happened, if if the 6th Doctor had like a companion called Charlie, surely that would have popped up. But that is a different debate whether Big Finish is canon or not.
So this Time Lord Victorious, right? It's an overarching storyline.
Yeah.
For various array of different medias.
Yep.
But the main one is Big Finish.
No, not at all. So Big Finish have like 4, so I suppose they have the most. Comics have got like 2. There's 2 books. Doctor Who magazine. Do you know the Doctor Who annual? That's also included. That's one of the things.
So basically, what there's probably going to be in the annual, there's probably going to be like one page which has a poster or something linked to the Time Lord Victorious, and then they can add that into. Ooh, guys, look, it's in this story. It's bullshit.
Oh, there's merchandise as well. There's like T-shirts and stuff. And to be honest, do you know when we did? I don't think that's like. It's not like the Doctor wears a T-shirt with Time Lord Victorious on it, and then boom, there you go. It's in the story. You need to get it. But it's like the T-shirt designs I don't like because they're nothing that I would want to wear. As in like
very, very nerdy. Like you will get bullied in public.
Well, I don't wear nerdy shirts, and I haven't bought them in a while. But it's like just the words Time Lord Victorious over a black shirt just doesn't see to me as worth it. I think it's not like the merch is actually in the story. The merch is just like the extra bit kind of thing. But it just seemed like a strange it's like how gullible are Doctor Who fans really, and I think we're extremely gullible as a group.
How much in it? So let's say the big finish in the comics, they'll actually be
Comics are rather cheap.
Story, but the little things like the annual and the escape room, how much of that is actually going to link?
Yeah, it might be quite.
Victorious, or have they just chucked that name in there and said a few references in it to make people buy a ticket to get more money?
I can't say about the escape room, but I don't think that the annual is going to be the best of help. You know, I think that, to be honest, I haven't bought an annual in quite a few years.
Do you need to see every single piece
you don't, apparently,
or whatever to understand the story, or can you just go, ooh, David Tennant's in that, I like him, and just get that one?
See, what? So, do you know when they said that Infinity War was like its standalone film?
Right.
That's how I see when they say things like, you know, Doctor Who Timelord Victorious, basically you can buy from any platform, and they all have their own arc. They're all kind of their own thing, and I'm like, yeah, but you can call Infinity War its own thing. Doesn't mean it's not linked to Endgame. You know, and I find that like it's kind of like you could have done this like two ways. You could have just done some audios. You could have done a couple of books, but no, you have to do like 20 things. Bring out merch. Like it's everything that they could possibly throw at it has been thrown at it, which I think, you know, this hasn't been done before. So, you know, we're quite cynical about it, but I think that if it works, then, you know, Marvel might do one, you know, but I think there might be a good reason why this hasn't been done before.
No one's done it before because it's just a cash grab.
Well, it does come across as that way, but, you know, I think it is like, if you can dip into the bits that you like and you want to listen to, if you want to read, then that's fine. But I think that, you know, if you brought Timelord Victorious out over, let's say, a couple of months, a couple of years, so let's say you started next year in January and ended it in December, you know, do you know when we have Doctor Who and we don't have it for like a year, if they made a year just the Timelord Victorious year, so next time Doctor Who goes on a break, they do Timelord Victorious for a whole year, and they kind of evenly place out all of the items so that it feels less like, oh god, I've got absolutely no money because I've bought everything, you know? I think there is something quite clever and quite irritating with the idea that they've decided to bring everything out in like a couple of months. Why not spread it out a bit? You know, because if they're coming out...
You said the audio bundle alone is £30, right?
Yeah. Well, rounded up.
And then the annual's going to be a tenner. Comic books are going to be about 15 each.
No. I've had a look. They're about £5 each.
The comic books?
Yeah. There's two of them, and then there's these monstrous beauty things, and that's in the Doctor Who magazine, so that's about £5 each.
Where do you get these comic books from then? Because I've never
Forbidden
seen a
Planet.
comic book in my life.
You can get them on the internet as well. You can get them cheaper on the internet. It's about £3 on the internet.
Still reckon it's just going to be a cash grab.
It might well be. I think that the merch is like, okay, well, yes, guys, we get it. Yeah, it's linked to Timelord Victorious. Doesn't mean we have to buy it. And I think there are. You don't have to buy everything, and I haven't, and I won't be. You know, I'm not gonna go and buy the vinyls or whatever because I don't have, you know, a record player, so I can't. And to me, I don't get any enjoyment out of just listening, or like just looking at the covers. So I didn't. But I will probably not during the next few months when everything's coming out all at once. But I will probably within time go and buy the digital versions of these things because you can buy digitals.
I probably won't. I'll probably like watch a review on it on YouTube and then I'll go like, okay, cool.
Well, I think what I would say we should do is get a group of people, whether it's just like two, and this is what I recommend listeners should do as well, is instead of like get a group of like 3 or 4 people together, and then kind of decide what you want to buy, and then kind of separate that between you. So I've said to one of our friends already that once the Christopher Eccleston things come out, I've already bought them all, and they are going to.
What, his return to Big Finish?
Yeah, I spent £88 on buying all the CDs.
Right.
But I can get downloads, so I will get So I will download the digital version, and then I can give it to people.
So can you just buy the CDs and then just give us all the download links?
Yeah. Well, you can buy the downloads and give people the download links. That kind of. Well, I don't think you're supposed to, but for me, I think that the audios are going to be like the main thing, the main draw. That's going to be the part that I take the most, and I'm really looking forward to getting them, to be honest.
I don't know what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to just the overarching story. I'm not going to buy anything. I don't have that money, but probably just someone will do a review on it, and I'll probably just watch that.
So we've all been talking about the products and like their cost, but do you think Time Lord Victorious will be a satisfying story?
No.
Because to me, I think that how can it really end? Right, so it's going to end two ways. Right, so the thing's not really connected to the main story, so it doesn't need to like fall back or anything. But it will either fall back into place so the Doctor realizes what he's done wrong, or he will become further and further the villain throughout the whole piece, and leading into the final part when he is like just evil. I wonder what they are really doing with the story, or whether it's been kind of like style over substance here.
I just don't get right how they're going to actually show a story or a story arc or whatever through nearly 30 different things.
I don't think it's 30 platforms. It's like a couple of platforms. Really, it's like 30 products, but like 10 platforms. If I can
find my notebook, I did my video on it. If I can find my notebook, I can tell you what it is. Check it out, guys. Sidewheel YouTube channel.
There won't be a link.
Aha!
Did you just go aha once you found it? Well, I think there's a lot of stuff that is quite limited, to be honest. I think, like many people talked about when the first thing was announced, it has such accessibility problems. If you're not in the UK, then you can't do the escape rooms. If you live in the middle of nowhere, then you can't do the escape rooms. It is going to depend a lot on people's income. And in the middle of we're coming towards the end, I like to think, but, we're still in the pandemic. So there's a whole bunch of stuff, such as, whether you have the technology to be able to do some of this stuff, whether you have the income. There's a lot of issues here, and I think that, to be honest, it's about cherry picking the things that you want. For me, I think that the books, I'm leaving for a while. I'm going to get them, but I'm going to get them later. I'm not getting them first week. I think there's a lot of like.
But if you buy something else, like to say if the books come first and then the big finish, but you don't want to buy the book, does that mean you're then going to miss out a bit on the big finish because you don't know what's going on?
Well, apparently they're all not linked in to that extent, but it's like they must be, because it is one arc. It's a multi-platform story. You're not gonna make them all fulfilling arcs, are you? I'm not saying you have to get everything, but if you want to get the majority of the stuff, then you got some money on you.
It become one massive story. Like, it sounds great enough, but looking at all these, there's a lot of media and a lot of doctors and a lot of characters. How is that all going to become one massive story?
Well, I think it's going to be quite loosely connected, if I'm honest. Like, Legacy of Time, which you haven't seen, but Legacy of Time was like an audio thing to celebrate like 20 years at Big Finish last year. But the Legacy of Time had like stories that had like elements that would go into the finale. So like one of them had this like creature thing, which was like the first like Time Lord or something, and the first use of the TARDIS. There were loads of sort of time issues and all of that caused by it, and it was that each episode of the story added in something to the arc while being its own story, and hopefully that's what they do with Time Lord Victorious, because if they don't, we're in for a pretty rubbish couple of months now.
Such a cash grab. Right, yeah, thank you guys.
Whatever. Is that your takeaway? It's just a cash grab.
Clearly, mate.
It's a cash grab that could lead us with a pretty cool story, as I'm seeing it. But I think it has made me think, oh my god, there's so much Doctor Who stuff, can we really keep up?
Like, it's a great idea in that.
Yeah.
But the amount of products they've got, the only thing I'm excited about was that maze theory.
You just want to play a game, don't you?
I just want to play a Doctor Who game, yeah.
See, I think, of course I'm looking forward to it, but I'm like pessimistic that they focused too much on the platform and didn't think, hang on, what we're making again?
Bastard, it's going to be released to the PS5 and Xbox Series X.
there's a lot of cool stuff coming. I will think we'll probably do like a kind of imagine this is like the opening to Time Lord Victorious, and then in a couple of months when it's all over, probably March next year.
You can fly the TARDIS. Oh damn mate, we have to get this bloody game. Oh, can I quickly read the summary of the game?
You can, but I'm gonna cut it.
This project is set to be part of a trilogy.
Okay.
Anyway, guys,
we'll probably do another podcast once Time Lord Victorious is over, and we've consumed as much media as we can over the coming month. We're coming back with literally no money and no A levels.
I mean, I got 3 A levels.
So did I.
Hold on.
Okay, so thank you guys very much for listening. Next month, I have plans to talk about action figures and how they've changed since I was a child, and how they are now. But I suppose we will see you soon. Hopefully you enjoyed Time Lord Victorious. But thank you guys very much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy this podcast. If you did, make sure you like it, comment on the thing, download it, watch the other ones. What am I doing? Anyway, thank you very much for watching, for listening. And
turn on the subscribe bell.
And we'll see you soon next month, the 5th of every month. Goodbye. Well, this is when you say goodbye. It's how the ending works.
Oh, goodbye.
Oh, wasn't that incredibly professional? Anyway, I wanted to add this bit on the end because I wanted to, 1, talk about why the video was a bit weird in some certain places, and 2, I wanted to kind of give you the follow-up, which I forgot to talk about in the original podcast. So the first thing that I wanted to say is that I had some technical difficulties while I was making this episode, such as the fact that my head was too close to the mic, which meant that every P that I said was basically taken and made the audio peak, and trying to compress them down again was a real challenge. And I had a few issues with Will's audio not being very clear and being quite quiet. So I had to, play around with that for quite a while, which might mean that in certain points, what it does mean in certain points, that it sounds a bit off. In other news, see, professional link, I am doing this as part of a series for Time Lord Victorious, just as it's coming out. So that's why the podcast is available a couple of days early on YouTube, and it'll be arriving on everywhere else on its normal day, the 5th. But I have done this in order to bring out 2 videos around the same time. The first one is this one, which you've just listened to, and the second one, which is my own video done in my normal format, which is when I stand in my room and I talk about things. And that is on my YouTube channel. There'll be a link to that in the bio description thing in the bottom, and you can click on that and go to that video. And in that video, I'm going to be talking about how to get the most out of Time Lord Victorious without spending as much money as they want you to. So hope you did enjoy the podcast, and I shall see you soon. Goodbye.